Welcome to the Zoro Colorwork project. This is kind of a tutorial, kind of a crochet along. Last time we did our first chain and got all of our colors worked in that we're currently using. As I mentioned last time, that first row is sometimes like the slowest and the hardest one. So hopefully today we'll make some decent progress. I have the pattern that I've made on my iPad off camera, and we will go ahead and get started. When I'm in between working on the project, I put a stitch marker on the loop of the last stitch work just so it doesn't come undone. So let's go ahead and take that off. And this is worked left to right. So last time we flipped the whole thing over. So we'll always be starting on the left-hand side. But as you're doing your pattern, you kind of go left, right, left, right. The patterns that I make have the alternating row numbers for ease of use for that. So we will go ahead and get moving. So I have already chained one at the end of this row. We do that for our edge. It just looks a little bit better. So we will do 10 single crochets. All of this is single crochet. Colorwork is pretty beginner friendly. It just becomes more complicated when you're doing a fair amount of color changes. And 10. And just like last time, we're going to be working over that green yarn because it's just a single black stitch, giving us some detailed outlining. Pull up the loop, insert the crochet hook downward through the front of the stitch, pull up your next color, and then in the next stitch do your single crochet. So that will be 5 green, okay, now we're done with this green. We will scoot forward. Done with this color, move it forward, and pick up. Oop. Forgot to pull the loop. That will happen sometimes when you get on a roll. So let me just fix that. Okay, now let's do skin color. And for this, we need 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you get here, we have to crochet over a working card that you will be using. I just hold it up and crochet over, because we will need to use that in just a second. There's 10, and then there is 11. And then we'll have our black, and we will be crocheting over the skin tone. Because it's just for 2 stitches. 1, and there is 2. Pull the loop, move our color forward, and then we continue on with our skin tone. For how many? Let's see, there's our first one. Scoot the pattern over. It's going to be 13. And 13. We'll again be crocheting over our skin tone color, so not moving that forward just yet. And this will be for 2 stitches. Move this forward. And then we have 13 on this side. 13. Move forward. Pick up our next color. 1 stitch, which will be crocheting over. And then pick up our black. Move forward. And then we have 11 single crochets in green. I'll make this knot. Let's see. Right, end of our row, chain 1, and then we flip our work over. Once this gets a little bit of height to it, I'll start clipping the binder clips to the bottom so it makes the flips easier. So we're on row 3. Let me bump my pattern up. It will be same 11. My dog is pacing around the table. There's our 11. Will be yarning over. I need to stop saying yarning over because that's actually a crochet term that means something else. Also be crocheting over black here. The good thing about a pattern that's somewhat symmetrical, like a shirt, is that you go on for quite a bit doing the same pattern for a while, and then it sort of makes the counting a little bit unnecessary, because the greens and the blacks should be in the exact same spot for a good portion of the time. The skin tone color has a bit of movement with the black detail because, one, it's an open-faced shirt, so there's some muscular definition that we have here. And also, I'm doing post time skip Zoro so that he has his eye scar, and also with the more open shirt face that he tends to wear more frequently in the time skip, his scar on his chest is visible. Actually, we're going to make her color change here. Now, this is probably the first time this has happened, where we have to sort of go back with our new color yarn, which means we pull it over a stitch and then we sort of stitch back over it. So we will insert our hook, pull through, single crochet, pull back, and this is when we're going to get into the working of the scar. So I've kind of gone for sort of like a cross shape, because you can see where the stitches of the scar used to be. So it's not just a straight forward line. So this is going to be some quick back and forth between our colors. And when you're changing relatively frequently, there's a really good chance that your spools are going to get tangled because they're crossing back and forth over one another. So just be aware of that and try to sort of get ahead of it, for lack of a better word. Also, another little tip, if you are crocheting over yarn, make sure you're flipping it over to see that nothing's really poking out, that you've pulled it taut enough. Okay, so they should be good with this black. We're going to stitch the skin tone for 8. This is probably a good example of, better example of the ones that go back. So our yarn is sticking out on this stitch. We're going to pull the yarn over, work it over these 2 stitches, and then pick it back up where it needs to be. So pull, single crochet. Actually, we're done with this black now. And then 14 with the skin tone. If I could remember to actually do color change. Now I'll switch over to his top. That's kind of what I mean. You don't pull something taut, you kind of have a little bump, but typically with just a little tug and a squish, it goes away. And then we'll do our chain one. Then we'll do our turn. Here, green goes here. Okay, so I'll start row 4. I'm going to do this last row without talking, and then we'll close out the video. All right, and that is the end of row 4. Put our stitch marker in. Let's go ahead and flip. You can see where we're at. You can see with the binder clips, flipping becomes a bit easier, quicker at least. And yeah, we're making pretty good progress. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe. Comment if there's any other types of projects you're interested in seeing me doing. And I'll see you guys in the next one.